Guys, I've finally reached southern Maine, and I'm about to do the most notorious mile of the Appalachian Trail, the Mahoosuc Notch. So I was getting ready and stowing my poles so that I can do this because I'm a little worried. It's been raining the last few days, and there's been rumors about 2 people who broke their leg and wrists while doing this in the rain, so didn't want to have to do it while it was raining. But now it's a beautiful morning. It's just that it's been wet the last few days, so it makes me a little nervous about attempting it, but I'll show you what it looks like. And I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of videos while I'm scrambling, just because I'm a little leery of how this looks right now, but I'll try to show you what the terrain looks like. I read a story last week, I think, about Scott Jurek and how crowded the AT is getting, and one of the comments on it said that the AT isn't really a wilderness trail, it's basically a highway in the woods. And there are a lot of people on the AT, but if you think that it's a highway because the terrain is really easy and flat, you should take a look at what this looks like. So this is where the trail goes. So I have to climb down this. This doesn't look like it's probably going to be the hardest part because I've seen parts that look worse, but it goes over those rocks there. So I'm going to be using all 4 limbs right now. It's going to be fun to do, but it's just really slow going. I've heard the Mahoosuc arm is even worse right after this, so I'll film that also in this video so you can see what that looks like. Guys, I made it a very short way, but it's taken me a really long time even already. My strategy is to be on my butt as much as possible through this section because, as you can see, there's a lot of big rocks, and they're also, a lot of them are still wet, and not having my trekking poles makes it easier to have a grip, but it's still really pretty slick. So, and my knees are shaking because I'm like a little freaked out, but it hasn't been awful so far. It's just been really slow. Mahoosuc Notch is a little crevice in between these mountains here. So there's this rock face right here, and then this here, and then there. So it's surrounded on all sides by a bunch of rock faces, and then all these boulders fell in from the sides of the cliffs. So I've come down from up here, and it isn't horrible, it's just super slow. And it requires all 4 limbs to get down. So, and there's been places that are so narrow that you have to take your pack off to get through. So I'm having to take off my pack again and crawl through here because it's faster than having to walk around. Oh, jeez. Oh, these rocks make me a little bit nervous, even though I know they're not going anywhere. Jesus. Oh. I might not include this because I'm being really clumsy. Oh, my boobs are showing. Oh, jeez. So now I have to fix my trekking poles because they're falling off. And if you could turn around and show what it looks like. Which isn't 100% rock scrambles. There are sections like this to break up the sections of huge boulders. So I have to go down again. Guys, it didn't seem so hard at first, but now it's getting harder. And the fact that I'm a little nervous about climbing these rocks like this, I know I should be a professional, but it makes it a lot worse going through here. But it just requires all 4 limbs and a lot of concentration. Alright, so I expected that this was going to be more of an open pit of rocks, but as you can see, it's just like big rocks, and then there's a lot of vegetation right around too, so it can be kind of in the way sometimes. And other times it can be like a hand brace when you're going through, but it's been pretty challenging for me especially. Alright, I feel like this cave is pretty emblematic of what the Mahoosuc Notch is like, and I don't want to have to record for too long. There's language barriers legs up there. He's helping me out here. So as you can see, it's all rock. And you just have to crawl through. And I'm hoping that we're nearing the end of this, but I really just don't know. Wow, you guys, that took me a really long time to get through, and it was very, very difficult for me. For other people, I've heard Mahoosuc arm is harder, and I'm worried about Mahoosuc arm, but going up for me, going up a steep thing is always better than descending, so I'm hoping this is the end right here. It looks very flat and nice. So for the moment, let's see if I can eat lunch here. Hi guys! It's a rainy morning on the AT, and I ended up splitting up Mahoosuc Notch and Mahoosuc Arm. So now I am climbing Mahoosuc Arm. Just wanted to get it done first thing in the morning so that my legs weren't tired because my knees were really hurting yesterday after the notch. So the climb so far has been pretty steep, and the fact, let me see, the fact that it is rainy has made it a lot worse because it's a lot of exposed rock face, and it's a lot of steep slanted exposed rock face. So I can show you what it looks like. This is a particularly bad section right here. Let me see. You can see what's coming up. It doesn't look particularly steep. There's just tons of roots. Maine has tons of roots, and there's rocks. And then if you look down, I don't know if that's catching what that looks like, but it just goes straight up. And there's been several places where you basically have to like climb up. I don't want to do it. I don't want to record while I'm hiking. I'm sure you guys can understand that it's pretty hazardous right now. And so I just am really concerned about that. But I'm hoping that I'm about halfway at this point. But I still haven't seen the stream, so I don't know how far that means I am. So this is pretty typical of what you see. I don't know if you can get a good sight of what this looks like, but it's real steep rock face, and if you look down here, you can see that it's pretty slick. So the roots are even slicker though, so there's really no good place to go. But the angle of it, I can't show you as well as I should, but the angle of it is real ugly. You guys see, this is why I'm going to be climbing up right here. It looks scarier in person than it does on this video, but you get the idea that it's pretty intimidating. Here's another rock face that you're expected to climb up right here. And I've come up these. So the fun continues. This is making me a little dizzy because it goes straight down. And this is just rock. It has a lot of foot treads, but it's still very straight down. So today it's hard. You have to try to find something to support yourself with or something, because it's just all slippery because it's wet. Alright guys, I think I'm finally nearing the top of the arm. I think this is a pretty brutal climb. I would much rather go up than down this, because I can tell you that it is very steep and difficult. So just a second. I'm slightly past the summit of Mahoosuc arm, and I'll give you like a recap, I guess, of these last 2 days. It's been a really brutal time for me, especially because I am like afraid of injuring myself on wet rocks more than most thru hikers seem to be, and I don't have a lot of confidence walking on them. So it's been a brutal morning for me doing this, but I would recommend, I think the way we did it was pretty good, where if you split it up over 2 days and you plan both days to be relatively short days, so just do a few miles, get to the notch, do the notch at the end of the day, plan to camp immediately after the notch, and be sure to start. I mean, most people it takes them a couple hours, so it took me even longer than average, but plan to start relatively early, like around at least midday or early afternoon max, because otherwise there were some people who came into our campsite last night who had been hiking through that in the dark, and that's a really great way to get injured. So anyways, not much view up here right now, so it hasn't been great, but I didn't think the arm honestly was as bad as some other climbs that we've done. But I would say that the main reason that I think it wasn't as bad is because I didn't do it immediately after the notch. So would really recommend splitting it up, because it'll help you out in terms of saving your energy for the next morning when you can. Even though last night was a rough night for me too, because I kept dreaming about those rock caves and those deep holes that are in the rock caves where people lose their trekking poles and stuff. So I was having a nightmare about falling into those. So I'm really happy to be past this section, and the weather is pretty bad. You can see there's really, so I really need to move on. But I'll talk to you guys later. I feel really great right now. Bye.